I'm growing food in Central Florida, in the middle of hurricane season, and Hurricane Milton is on its way to visit. Even though it's not expected to stay long, it is expected to leave a mark, or two. I always prepare as if it's going to hit harder than expected, because once the weather hits, it's too late. At that point, all you can do is watch and wait. So while I'm waiting, I do what I can. And I try, emphasis on try, not to worry about the rest. But there's always a point when the storm is coming, and as I look out the windows of my home, watching the mango trees blowing in the wind, I'm imagining how much worse the weather is going to be in a few hours. At this point, the eye of Hurricane Milton hasn't even reached land yet. It won't reach me for another 8 hours after that. It is coming. It's headed right for us. Should I have done more to prepare? Is there anything else I could have done? Will my wife and I be okay? Will my home be okay? What will happen to the plants in my garden? There's always something else that could have been done.
They say that hindsight is 20/20, but is there anything else I should be doing?
Yes, I just decided. I don't like the way the mango trees are blowing. They're young and they're still very flexible, but I'm gonna move them onto the porch. They'll get more protection there. What about the avocado trees? They're older and they're not nearly as flexible. They might snap and break. I have to leave them in place though. They're too heavy for me to move. And the papaya plant, it's in the ground. There's no way for me to move it right now either. The bananas? I thin the leaves a lot because I've had banana plants ripped out of the ground in previous hurricanes. I'm hoping they'll do better with some of their sails removed. I'm worried about the one that's actively fruiting. I can remove the leaves. I can't remove the rack of bananas. They're not ready for harvest yet. They haven't started to ripen yet. They haven't even completely filled out yet. If I cut them down now, I don't believe they'll ever ripen. I have a strap to help support the plant because the weight of the fruit was pulling it over the neighbor's fence. Hurricane winds hit us from every angle though, and the rack of bananas will act like a kite pulling against the line. So I don't know if it's gonna survive. Spoiler alert, it didn't make it. On the brighter side, with all this rain, the banana plants are gonna put on a lot of new growth very fast. The hurricane is coming. It's headed right for us. It's getting darker outside. The storm clouds are blocking out the sun. It's going down soon anyway, so it's getting harder to see what's going on in the yard. The strategically placed swales aren't very big, but they're big enough to direct the rainfall away from the house, normally. It's a lot of water though. The swales can't handle all of it. I can already see the puddles forming. But I'm pretty sure it's not the end of the world.
The sun always goes down, the sun always comes up.
What's that? Oh, I'm just hearing that tornadoes are touching ground throughout Florida. Where? The reports are saying there are confirmed deaths in St. Lucie County. That's on the other side of the state, hundreds of miles from where Milton's eye is right now. And there goes the papaya. It just blew over. The rain bands are intensifying as the sky turns black. I can't really see anything outside anymore, but it sounds bad. It sounds really bad. What is that dripping in the attic? I have a fairly new roof, so it shouldn't be leaking, is it? Or is that my imagination getting away from me? My last roof leaked a lot for years before I could eventually save up enough to replace it. During storms like this, I had to climb into the attic and empty buckets that I kept under the leaks in order to collect the drips. Maybe my memory is inserting the dripping sounds where there are none. Yeah, I'm sure that's it. The eye of the hurricane finally made landfall. It's a Cat 3, and it's heading right for us. The storm surge is flooding the coastal areas. Buildings are underwater, streets are impassable. There are reports of people being stranded. First responders can't help people now. Did I mention it's heading right for us? My property is high and dry. I don't need to worry about flooding. Besides, I live on a canal that will drain away the rainwater. Although,
there was one time
2 years ago, Hurricane Ian dropped so much water on us that the canal peaked about 5 feet higher than its normal level and overflowed the banks by about 10 feet into my yard. Maybe I should have gotten sandbags. Well, it's too late now.
The tricky thing with hurricanes is that they're all different, and they impact different areas in different ways. If I lived closer to Tampa, I would prepare differently. If the storm was expected to stay stronger longer, I would prepare differently. If I lived in a house that wasn't up to current hurricane codes, I would prepare differently.
For this specific hurricane and my specific circumstances, most of the needed preparation is simply part of the normal homesteader style life. I didn't need to run out and buy toilet paper, batteries, or canned foods because we have all of that in our house all year long. We have extra water, we have non-electric can openers, we have shelf-stable protein. All of the items being cleared from store shelves right now are things that we have normally. And if the power goes out, We also have camping gear.
We aren't hoarders, but we are prepared.
Learning how to be prepared is one of the defining marks of a homesteader life. We're not perfect, we're not ready for everything, but we're learning, and we're growing. As Ryan Hall says, don't be afraid, be prepared. I've been watching his weather updates for years, and his live stream has been consistently on my TV most of the day. Based on the data, we still have a long time to go before the worst of this storm reaches my home.
But right now, it's time for bed, so...
I think I'll go to sleep now. Not in bed, though. There's a tall tree that leans over my bedroom. It's a live oak, and they're incredibly strong. They're incredibly heavy, too. Well, it'll probably be okay. I don't want to be underneath it if it decides to fall over. So I guess I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. At least that way I can leave Ryan Hall's live stream playing for updates throughout the night. So, yes, I'm going to sleep. On the couch. I'm going to sleep. Yes. Oh, who am I kidding? There's a hurricane out there. And there's another tornado warning. There have been a lot of those tonight. 30, 40, I don't know, I lost count. That last one, though, caught my attention because, as they say,
it hit so close to home for me.
And we still have hours to go, but after the eye hits, that's when it really gets bad. Every hurricane is different, and the prep for each hurricane has to be different too. In this case, the latest update puts the worst of the rain and winds hitting my area after the eye passes. Even though I want to record some of it to include in this video, I can't. It's too dark. I can't see anything outside. All I can do is listen to the wind howl and the rain fall, and the acorns landing on the roof. That's it. I'm going to sleep. I think. It's going to be a long night. What's that beeping? The TV is routed through the battery backup unit and we just lost power. The TV is going off. It's 4:30 in the morning and the eye of the storm still hasn't reached us.
I'm tired, but I can't go back to sleep now. I want coffee, but we lost power. What was that?
My wife is so good to me. She saw the power flicker a few times around 4 a.m. and she started the coffee brewing just in case. It had enough time to finish brewing before the power went out. Thank God for the little things. In this case, I'm thanking my wife too. If you want a fantastic wife, get one like mine.
You can't have mine, though.
There's a break in the rain. Stepping outside with a flashlight, it looks like the whole neighborhood lost power. I don't see any lights anywhere. The power lines that I can see are still up. That's a good sign. My neighbor's tree lost another big branch. As the sun slowly starts to peek its way through the clouds, I can tell the worst of it is behind us. Oh, for us.
Just like every storm is different, every person is impacted by every storm differently. With this storm, some people are waking up this morning with very little impact, while other people aren't waking up this morning at all.
Our stove won't work without electricity, so my wife is cooking breakfast on a propane grill while I'm starting the cleanup process. I need to reset the small potted plants. I need to stake up some plants until they grow new roots. I need to trim damaged parts of plants. As for this banana plant, I honestly don't know what to do with it. I think I'm going to leave it as is, lying on the ground for now. I hear cars on the road again, the busy bustle of first responders, electricians repairing power lines, people heading to work, and people feeding their curiosity by exploring the damages in their neighborhoods.
It's another day. It's just another day. For some, it's a good day. For others, it's a day of recovery or a day of loss. But that could be said of every day, any day.
Tomorrow's another day.
You never know what tomorrow may bring. It could be your best day, it could be your worst day. Or it could be your last day. Worrying about what might happen tomorrow may keep you awake at night while waiting for the eye of a storm. But worrying about it won't stop the storm or slow it down or change its path. All a person can do is prepare for what he or she thinks might happen to the best of his or her ability using the resources available.
And then let's move on, okay?
There's no telling what tomorrow might bring. In my case, Milton might have stayed stronger longer, or it might have dumped even more water than expected. The tornado could have touched down on my house, the canal might have overflowed and flooded my home. There are a lot of options for bad things that might have happened. But worrying about what might happen won't stop anything from happening.
So I assessed the risk. I did what I could. There's a fine line between prepping and planning or worrying. Don't be afraid, be prepared.
After the storm passes, clean up the debris, if it's a little or if it's a lot. Pick up the pieces, whether they're few or many. Then look around to see if your neighbors need help picking up their pieces or cleaning up their debris. With that thought in mind, I'm going to go check on my neighbors. Thank you for riding out this storm with me. Till next time, I'm going to keep on growing. You should too.